Hey, you want to see how I painted these cabinets? Then check out this video. Let's get this going.
Okay guys, so today's video we're going to be remodeling some bathroom cabinets. First thing I'm going to do is remove all the doors and the drawer faces. I'm going to mark on the inside of the doors and also label the hinges so that I remember where they go when I put them back on. I'm going to be taking these doors to my shop and I'm going to be spraying them so that they have a smoother finish. So here they are, the frames without all the doors and the drawers. So now we're going to get ready to tape, cover everything up, and get ready to paint. The next step here is going to be to tape off around the walls and the floor. What I'm using right here is the purple Scotch tape. It's for delicate surfaces. You want to use this on all your painted walls and whatnot like that. What I'm using here, I found that the green frog tape is the best for taping around your floors. It just seems to keep any bleed through out. I'm putting some paper just to cover the walls from anything that could splatter. You want to make sure you cover the walls and the floors. Okay, so here and now I'm just going to be spraying it down with some crud cutter. It's just a degreaser to get them clean, get any oils and residue off of them. You want to make sure that they're real clean. Now I'm just going to grab some sandpaper. This is just a medium grit. It's about 220 probably. You just want to really scuff it up. That way the paint has something to adhere to. Alright, so now it's time to start priming. What we're going to be using is a shellac-based primer. This is a bin. It's a stain blocking, so you want to use that to prevent anything from bleeding through your paint. This right here also just helps your paint to stick to the pre-painted cabinets. You want to make sure too, once you finish priming, that you go over it with some fine grit sandpaper and just sand it to smooth it up for your painting. Alright, so now we're getting into the painting part. This is advanced paint and it's in a satin finish. This is a cabinet grade paint, so this is what I normally use on bathroom vanities or anything that I roll. And I like to brush all the areas that need brush first and then roll over it. That way the roller smooths out any of the brush marks. Okay, so now that we're done with the frame, we're in the shop here. I always want to tape everything that I've written on my doors so I remember what number they are and they don't get painted over. Then I'm just going to spray them with crud cutter and then run over them real quick with the sander. Now this doesn't have to be super precise. You just want to get it scuffed up real good and sand out anything that needs to be sanded out so that the paint is smooth. And then I just run over it with some alcohol to get all the dust off. And I do the same thing with the doors, making sure to cover the numbers so they don't get painted, and then clean them with crud cutter again, and then hit them with the sander. Okay, so now that we're done sanding, we're going to go ahead and hit all the doors and the drawer faces with some primer. This is just some self-etching primer out of a HVLP sprayer. You just want to make sure and get a good coat on all the doors, fronts and backs. One coat is really enough when they've already been painted. Then you just put them back on the drying rack for them to dry. Okay, so now here we go, start to paint. Again, we're using the advanced paint out of the HVLP sprayer. I always like to spray the backs first, just so they can sit there on the rack and dry, and then do the fronts last. That way, once they're all dry, you don't have to worry about there being any scuff marks or anything like that on the fronts. Okay, so now that we got all the doors painted and they've sat on the rack for a couple of days to really dry, I usually just always start with the drawers, just because it seems easier for me to get them out of the way, then I can focus on getting the doors hung back up. But right here I am putting the drawers that go in front of the sinks. These get screwed in from the back. They're not able to be used. They're just there for decorations. But now I'm installing the drawer faces on the drawers. With these, I like to put the screws that the hardware goes on back through the holes. That way you can set the drawer face on them and it'll line up the screw holes from where the screws go. Alright, so now we're going to hang the doors back up. I usually always like to hang the hinges on first, and then I just hang the door on the hinge. But this is where marking your hinges comes in handy, because that way you know exactly which hinge to put on top and which to put on bottom, and then that way when you put the door back on, everything's lined up and you don't have to do any adjusting. have it. Everything put back together. I've got everything but the hardware. It hasn't come in yet. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a like, and if you'd subscribe to my channel, that'd be awesome. And I'll be getting more videos out for y'all real soon.